Hello, welcome to this follow-up video that talks about a monorepo that contains Angular, NX, firebase authentication, and faster database. So far, we created an application with authentication where the user can input his top crypto coins. Let's add, for instance, BTC for Bitcoin, ETH for Ethereum. But this data is gone when the user reloads the application. So now let's continue this application that we started and save the user data in a firestore collection. So for that, let's create a file and we call it user queries. And if you wonder why I'm using the type name queries, no, I will later do a video where I explain how I architect my project. But in a few words, these user queries will deal with requests and update to the user's collection. So now let's add a method, upset coins, and this method will be responsible for inserting and updating the coins of a user. This method, upset coins, will create a document user if it does not exist. And if it exists already, it will just modify the coins property. So now let's just move to the coin list component and now make a few changes for it to update, to save the user data in the firestore collection. So in the add coin here, what we do here is that we call the queries, the user queries that we just created. But first we need to inject it. But we'll need also the user ID, and let's for that let's also inject the auth of the application, which will contain the current user ID. Now with this little change that we've done, we'll be able to add the coins to the firestore collection. Now if you have a look to application and if you add a crypto coin, so Ethereum, Bitcoin, so this one will be saved to application. Not yet. Well, it's maybe might be related to the permissions of our database, our firestore database here. So we can have a look at the rules of our firestore, and by default here it says it's not allowing anything. So we can change the false here to true, and this one is only for the development mode. And in production, we can check the token of the request against some defined claims. Now, after these changes, if we reload the application, if I add my coins, we see that this one will be saved in our application. So here we go. We have this data that is saved. I can add many more coins and it should be saved. But now, if we delete, we won't have any change yet here because I will make the changes in application to account for the delete part as well. So we can make the changes also in the delete method, but it will be better if we also leverage the signals, if you transform this signal into an observable, and if we listen to these signal coins in order for us to make the changes. So let's do that instead. So now you change coins also to be unobservable, and we listen to the changes on these dot coins. And whenever this changes, we also abstract the data to the user collection. Now we can safely remove it from here. And we see that if we go to application, if I add my coin, we see the changes are reflected here in application. But if I delete, well, the delete is still not working, even though we are listening directly to the changes here. The reason why the delete is not working is because of this splice here that we are using. And uh, this splice is mutating the coins array. So we need to make a change in a way that is immutable. And we need to produce a new array whenever we make a change. So we can make these changes here by returning a new array. So now we are producing a new array whenever we make a change, and that it will trigger these coins also to detect that there is a deletion in progress. Now, if you go to application, if you add our coins, so we have both. Now, if I delete vet, so is the change is reflected here. However, when we reload our application, we don't see the coins of the user. Worst is deleted. You need to make a few changes again to the application. Uh, when we initialize this component, we want to fetch the data that is in our firestore document and populate the coins data here. So we can do that here in our nj on init. But first, we also need to create a get coins here in our user queries. So as you can see, I'm using my user queries whenever I want to interact with my firestore collection. So let's create here a get coins. So we now created a get user method, and which will fetch the user document related to the ID passed in parameter here. So now let's go to our coin list component and use this method that we just created here to populate our coins. So now we are using the user document from Firestore and use it to initialize the list of coins that are displayed to the user. Now, if you have a look at the application and if you add our crypto coins, and if you reload the application, we expect to have the same data here, Ethereum and VeChain. We expect to have the same two. Now let's do that. But it's not happening. Now let's try to debug our application. Let's put two breakpoints, one here and the second here. If you reload the application, so here we can see that our upset coins is called with an empty array uh, before even receiving the user document. So what we can do is that we can just skip the first event that we receive. We can skip the first event on these dot coins because it will always be empty because of our empty signals, the empty array here. So let's go to application and make this small change to application to make it work. Pipe, and we skip the first event because we don't want to have the event on the empty coins. Now, if we go to application again, now if we add Ethereum, if we add VeChain, we reload our application, et voila, so we have our two coins. So for this video, we are now able to save our data in Firestore and we are able to retrieve them as well. So that's all I got for you for today. So stay tuned for the next video in this series as we continue adding more features to our application.